What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Shot Sports Podcast. Grab a drink. Snack this your weekly dose of sports where we'll break down and do a deep dive on the world of sports. Whether you're a casual fan or a diehard, we're here to bring you the latest, the best analysis, and the hottest takes. Subscribe to our YouTube, share, even leave a comment. We appreciate all feedback. Smash the like button for us. Tap the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever we drop one. So you want, and today I'm your host. I'm back.
Yeah,
Young person born.
if
Uh,
you were on the last show, you saw a little cameo.
yeah, I mean I was just trying. I was like trying to eavesdrop into the Cavs, and they just dropped me right on in. So I'm like, whoa, wait,
Yeah, we'll find that clip and we'll post it somewhere. But that's
right?
that
Like,
was a
oh,
funny moment.
wait. But
That'll be the one that goes viral too.
I hope
right, get like 2,000 views or something. But we have a recent graduate on our podcast right now. Chris Pittner has graduated from. Go ahead.
UW Whitewater. We're back home now, out of the apartment. Should be fun. I'll be a lot more available at least these first few weeks for sure to be able to shoot, and yeah, it'll be a good time.
Chris, where you thinking about working at? Is there not a specific place yet?
I have a couple different is what just because it's close to Whitewater still. I have a lot of family down there too, even though I'll be moving away from Sheboygan. It's still not too far
I
away.
got you. Okay, cool.
That's pretty cool. Welcome to the real world, and get ready to start paying bills and start paying them loans back.
Jeez.
So we're gonna jump into our first topic right here. Well, then there were four. On Sunday we had a game seven, best two worst in sports, and it definitely disappointed. The Nuggets were just annihilated 125-93 by the Thunder, who now face Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves. We'll get into that in a second, but Aaron Gordon with a grade one hamstring had played pretty well for one leg. I mean, he had 8 points, 11 rebounds, shot 2 for 4 from the field. What are we to expect with the final four teams?
I expect a great matchup from SGA and Ant. Obviously, that's the highly anticipated one that's happening today. I believe it's today or
Yep,
tomorrow, one of those.
yep.
And from Brunson and Halliburton, it's a little revenge game for
I'm rooting for
their series
Halliburton.
for the Knicks. And I kind of got Brunson taking the stand here. They have the better team, in my opinion. They have arguably, I think their coaches are kind of on the same level. But you know, I'm really excited for the Ant and SGA matchup because I think SGA is going to win MVP in these next few days. I think they're going to announce it this week. And although it's a very big discussion whether he is or not, but if he is, that fuels the fire a little bit more for Ant. And when the fire gets fueled with Ant, we've seen it. He's collecting every Infinity Stone one by one, and he wishes he got a chance to get at the Celtics last year so he can get that green stone. But unfortunately he didn't. But this year he has a great chance to face either the Knicks or the Pacers in the finals, which I think is a great matchup for him because I don't think anyone on either of those teams can guard him besides Mikal Bridges, who I think is going to have just a great defensive series. So I'm looking forward to it. My highly anticipated one is definitely Ant versus SGA, but I can see Halliburton and Brunson being just as, or if not more, exciting. But yeah, I think I don't know how many games is gonna go to. I think the Timberwolves versus Thunder might go to 7 realistically, because if it does, I just see Ant winning both games at home because he did when he was he did when he was already in the regular season and stuff. So um the thing about SGA that I elaborated on last week before game 7, he uses these he uses these tactics to get to the line, but he's so talented regardless. And it doesn't make sense to me why someone so talented would want to use the tactics to get to the line like that. Like, for example, I know Giannis is way bigger than him and way stronger, and him getting to the line is like more easy. But with SGA, he uses these tactics to get to the line so easily, and I think that can affect the Anthony Edwards a lot, especially if he's on him the entire game, which I think will be the primary defender. So it'll be very interesting to see what kind of game plan the Timberwolves have in order to stop that, because that affects the game a lot, in my opinion. So
I thought like an interesting stat was that Knicks, Pacers, Wolves all have 10-year vets looking for a ring.
yeah,
The Thunder doesn't even have one.
right.
So the Thunder win these finals.
So they have Caruso, but he's already a champion. So
Right.
Yeah.
So that's not like. So if the Thunder win the finals, you're ultimately like.
Does that make him face of the league?
SGA.
Because think about it. This is the playoffs of the new gen. You know, who comes out on top? We got the.
This series is one of the hardest ones you can ever think about picking.
And outside of Luka, these are the 4 young players that are the most exciting.
Yep, and not one of them have a ring yet. So we're gonna get a new champion, a brand new champion, like a ring. So
the only vet that hasn't had one on these teams is Mike Conley, and I guess Cat. But can you really call him a vet?
You got Joe Ingles, who's a Jazz legend. He's on the Wolves.
Yeah, he didn't really play, but yeah.
Well, he's more like that Udonis Haslem kind of player now. Player coach kind of deal.
Which I think is cool, but yeah.
That would actually I think that would turn the tide of the NBA if SGA won.
How so?
Because you got Steph Curry, obviously, who's getting older. And I hate how people were talking about that. Oh, he didn't play. Aaron Gordon played in his game 7, and Steph Curry didn't come back when he was eliminated, bro. Steph Curry is 37 years old.
Steph also runs around more than anybody in the league. So his play would not be effective.
Is literally 37 years old. He has to use his legs to shoot from how far he does.
Yeah, he don't got nothing to prove either.
No, he doesn't.
He thought Jimmy Butler would be able to handle it, but let it be known Jimmy Butler's also 35. So
right. So it's like, what I mean by turning the tide of the NBA, I would say that you got LeBron getting older, who on his last season's coming up. I'm not a source. Steph Curry is on his way out too. Kevin Durant, he'll probably not get. He's probably not going to get a ring without Steph. So, and then when you look at the teams in the NBA, they're younger, especially with the Thunder. If they win at this age, they're going to be trying to vow for legacy purposes about, we can play and get rings for a while.
They better hurry up and get it now, because that guy in San Antonio is not.
And then you got Victor.
He ain't playing around when he come back. You got to think about Luka on the Lakers now. That's a big market. He can get any player he wants, pretty much.
Say what you want about Dallas Mavericks, but they got the number 1 pick in generational talent coming.
And their team is not bad when they're healthy.
No. They were ultimately one of the most dangerous teams in the playoffs, other than the Warriors.
If they were healthy, I agree.
If Kyrie Irving played, they would have been in the playoffs.
Yep. So
when you look at changing the tide of that NBA, all your favorite players are most likely now are not going to end up winning rings anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the favorites to win the rings anymore. It's all the young players. You got the Utah Jazz, who's going to be trying to get a young player to come up. Now that they know that they can't tank to get a worse record, how would they play next season? Will they actually try to go and make the playoffs? You got the Blazers, they young. You got the Hornets. Well, no, you can't really count. Look at the
I
Hornets.
was gonna say
but
the Hornets, they ain't
the
really going.
Washington Wizards, that's the East though. But that's the East. When we're talking about the West and how stacked the West is, and that's where all the bigger players are.
Right.
So if SGA wins this ring, the Thunder are going to be around for a long time.
It speaks volumes if he wins this ring, because it's a stacked West, and he beat.
We didn't even mention Jokic.
He beat his MVP counterpart in 7 games. He beat Ja Morant first round, who's another young great player who's has a lot to prove after this year and last year's incidents.
And you got Anthony Edwards over here saying that they collect Infinity Stones.
Right. So it gets to a point where you think like, man, what is going to happen if SGA wins this ring? Because like it's going to send a message to the league, like we're here for a long, long time, and there's nothing anyone can do about it because their team is so good. And you know, Dagnall, as a coach, he's young. I think he's like in his 40s, so he's going to be around for a long, long time.
So the thing about that is, especially when you say something, we're young, we're here, and they win early. That means you're going to start seeing a lot of teams try to model what the Thunder did.
Yeah, this team could potentially.
Because it works.
Yeah, they could potentially change a lot of things for teams, man. Like, for example, like the Bucks are in a horrible situation. They're going to have to try to mimic that if they want to build around Giannis, or if a team wants Giannis. I saw a post the other day, or yesterday, that John Horst said that if Giannis wants out, he's going to try to gut the team that wants him, and if that's what they want to do, they're going to get all the young players and do just like the Thunder. So it's going to be very interesting on if they win.
The closest team to the Thunder, and not talent wise, so don't quote me on that, because
young wise
is the Jazz. They're young and they have a duck load of picks.
It's the Rockets too.
The Rockets too, yeah.
You could argue in the pick situation that the Nets have a lot of capital as well from the KD trade.
Yeah,
but do you really fear the Nets though? Like, do
no,
they
not
really
yet.
have something that they can say that they're like developing out there? Like,
I mean,
no, not at all.
Not really. But you got to think about it, bro. If they have that many picks, they can develop pretty quickly, in my opinion. Like, they can get someone, or they can actually draft really well and end up being pretty good in the next year or two. So, I mean, I wouldn't.
The Thunder that is unique is that most of those guys, with the exception of Chet, were later first round picks. They weren't in like the top 3 or anything like that. Like they just had really solid development all the way up and down. I guess really the only team that's like that where they have a ton of top picks was maybe you could say the Pistons with the Asar Thompson, Cade. But other than that, the Thunder have just done a really good job of just developing the players that they've been able to pick.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. So we're going to look at the updated playoff bracket. You got, obviously you got the final 4 teams in, the Thunder versus Wolves and the Pacers versus Knicks. I will definitely be rooting for the Pacers.
That's crazy. They're 6 seed, the Wolves.
Yeah, well, the thing is how close all those teams were in the West. It was like from like 2nd to 8 was like 4 games or something like that too. So it's like they were all pretty much the same in terms of record. So a lot of those matchups, you could anticipate them being really close. Really, the only first round matchups that weren't close in the West were the Wolves one was not entirely close, and then the 1 versus 8 where it was just the Thunder were head and shoulders better than everyone else throughout the regular season.
If you pull that graphic back up, the Wolves and the Pacers, they've lost the same amount of games. It's only 2. So you got to think they have the most rest right now because the Thunder just went to 7 games, but arguably the best player in the league.
That's actually a good examination. I ain't gonna lie to you. They lost 2 games.
Both of those teams lost 2 games. So if anything, those 2 teams have the most rest. The Knicks lost 4. I mean, that's the most out of the 4 teams. They've lost 4 compared to the Thunder, who's lost 3, and the other 2 teams who lost 2. So you got to think, man, the Pacers and the Wolves, it's looking a little likely with the, if you're thinking on only rest. But if you're thinking about just teams in general, the Thunder.
I think both series are a toss-up because the Pacers play well together.
Right. I don't think the Pacers are going to be good in New York. I'll be honest with you. I don't think that's a very hard place to play right now.
The
So
thing is, though, is they
I
did
don't
the
know.
same
Trae
thing
Young did
last
it.
year. Everyone wrote them off, and they were able to get it done.
yeah, I don't. Trae Young does it. I don't know if Tyrese Halliburton can do that. It's Madison Square Garden we're talking about here. That's a very, very hard place to play, bro. Does Pacers have home field advantage? I didn't get.
No, they got 3 and
No,
4
no.
at home.
Okay.
They were the 5 seed or the 4 seed.
Yeah, so that'd be interesting. I got Knicks in 6 personally. I think their team is just better, and I can see the Pacers making it though because their offensive game plan is absolutely ridiculous, and their role
And
players.
I don't even think it's just about the offensive game plan. They can lock you down. Look at what they did to the Cavs when they needed to get a defensive stop. They locked you down.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think anyone in here was really impressed with the Cavs throughout the season that much. I think we all kind of knew that they were kind of fraudulent, in my opinion, because the way they play, they kind of just rely on Donovan Mitchell. And I can speak for this because I had him on my fantasy team, and he would be the only player outside of Mobley who would be able to do something. And when Mobley wasn't doing anything, it would be all Donovan Mitchell. And I don't think that type of gameplay works in this league anymore because if you go through one player now, you're not gonna make it. Look at the Bucks. You can't go through Giannis, just Giannis. It's not gonna work anymore. Those days are over with the Dirk Nowitzki's going out of nowhere. Allen Iverson's going taking your team to the finals. It's not gonna happen. Okay, it's you need a team, and I think the Pacers did a great job. You're right, but I think that this Knicks team they got a point to prove right now after making the Eastern Conference Finals since we were I wasn't even born yet. In 2000 they made it. So
1 years old, I think.
Yeah, you were 1 year old. So it don't even, So I don't know. I got Knicks in 6. I'm gonna watch every single game, and I'm gonna be locked in for all these next few games for both series because I think it's gonna be fun, and I think these are games that you need to watch. If you really like good basketball, I think this is like the perfect games to watch because they're young. They're figuring it out. None of them have made it to the final.
2000. I was 11 months.
Yeah.
June. Well, no, May. Yeah, I was like 10 months.
So who y'all got? I got Wolves and Knicks in the finals, personally.
I got I'm gonna stick beside my pick that I had at the beginning of the playoffs. So Thunder and then I'm gonna go with the Pacers.
I got Wolves Pacers in that series. I think that the two series are going to be very different from each other in the sense that the Western Conference Finals is going to be a lot more of that old school kind of 90s, 2000s basketball where it's really gritty, defensive, tough to score. Both of those teams are fantastic on defense. I really think both offenses are going to have a hard time. But in the East, I think we're going to see some shootouts in there. I think Indy and New York both have the capability to score points in bunches with Jalen Brunson and then just the huge amount of depth pieces that the Pacers have. I think it's going to be interesting to see how Rick Carlisle runs their offense, considering that a lot of the better defenders on the Knicks play on the perimeter. I think that he's probably going to have to change some things up, run it a bit more through Siakam and Turner down low, pick on Cat, get some easy buckets down there, and we'll see.
So that's the thing, man. Cat's been playing pretty good defense in the paint this playoffs. I'm pretty sure he's like a top 5 in the paint or something like that.
Let's be for real. He's not locking down Siakam.
I didn't say he's going to lock him down, but he's going to do his job. Okay, you got OG Anunoby, and you still got Mitchell Robinson came back. He's played outstanding defense.
OG Anunoby played terrible for like 2 games.
Offensively, not defensively. He didn't.
He's always been a guy on defense.
Yeah, he's never been a
That's
staple.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to need offense to beat the Pacers.
Not if your defense is that good. If your defense
score.
Oh, I know. I'm not saying they're not going to. They're going to win 2 games by like maybe 15 points, maybe. So, you got to think about it. If the Celtics are able to get a 20-point lead on them in 3 games, the Pacers have arguably just as good of an offense when they're fully healthy. So, maybe not as good as the
Pacers choke.
Huh?
I haven't seen really. Indy has been a lot better at closing in these playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Cleveland has taken them down to the wire. The Bucks have taken them down to the wire a few times, and they respond to every punch. They know how to keep fighting in those spots. They don't get dejected. Now, Madison Square Garden is a whole different beast from both Milwaukee and Cleveland, so it'll be interesting to see how they handle things there because that's probably a top 2 ruckus crowd in the NBA as of right now. And then the other one is in the Western Conference Finals with the Thunder. So really seeing how they respond to that. But so far, they've passed the test in terms of closing games against both Milwaukee and Cleveland. They've been able to stay composed, stay calm, especially when they get out to a lead. Because when they see those shots start to fall in that first half, man, it's really tough to stop them the rest of the way.
I will say, if the Thunder play the Pacers in the finals, I think the Thunder will win that in 5. I'm going to be completely honest with you because they match up absolutely amazing with the Pacers. And I don't know why. I just think SGA is going to drop like 30 every game on Tyrese because I don't think Tyrese can handle SGA. If I'm being
I kind of want the Pacers.
They're going to pick on Halliburton if they make it that far for sure.
You said what?
They're going to pick on Tyrese for sure.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, I wouldn't. I just if I see Thunder Pacers, I'm putting my money on the Thunder in like 6 or 5 because I just don't think that's a great matchup for the Pacers because that you got the deepest team in NBA versus like a top 5 deepest team, but whose role players are better, the Thunder or the Pacers? I think the Thunder got that by a landslide, considering how far they made and how many games they won this year. So
yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. That's something we're gonna have to definitely be watching a lot. We're gonna be watching the Pacers series a lot because just because some people have feelings towards them, like my dad doesn't like Knicks, so he's going to be watching it. He said he's never rooted for a team so hard than the Pacers right now. So
I think these game ones are going to tell us a lot about both series in the sense of how they're going to go at it. I think right now it's so hard to make a prediction. If I had to put money down, it's probably going to be on Pacers Thunder. However, I'm not always right with that. But like I said, I think the game ones are going to tell us a lot about how the coaches are going to attack both of these teams, how they're going to try and run their offenses. And I think after that one game, unless one of the teams just has a ridiculous shooting night, it'll be able to tell us a lot more about what's going to happen going forward.
I mean, I think Thibodeau, he's a very great defensive coach when it comes down to these offensive teams that he plays. As we see, I don't know how he did it against the Celtics when they were healthy and, they were getting these 15, 20-point leads and coming back like that. I don't know what he did in the game plan, but if he can start the game like that instead of in the middle of the game when you're down, I mean, the next they're pretty much unstoppable at that point. But they got to figure out right away, like you said, game one's gonna show a lot. But I like to judge it over the first 2 games because the first 2 games can show like who's gonna win at home, if you can win at home or not, and if you can go, if you have the capability to go on the road and win the next 2 games and away for the Knicks, and if you can win at home as the Pacers. So I don't know. I like to judge it over the first 2 games, but the first game is definitely going to show a lot for sure.
If Indy can steal a game in New York, I feel fantastic about their chances in this series.
I would agree with that. I just don't think they'll win tonight or tomorrow. So I think that'll be very tough the first game for sure. But I can see it going to 7 though, regardless. So.
All right. With that, we're going to jump into our next topic. Yep, Panthers dominate Toronto. Yep. Well, it happened again. The Panthers absolutely destroyed the Toronto Maple Leafs in Toronto in Game 7. So we have our Final Four as well.
It's the Bieber curse, man.
There's our playoff bracket. We have our Final Four. We have the Dallas Stars heading to Edmonton, and we have the Florida Panthers taking on the Carolina Hurricanes.
It's the Bieber curse. I'm trying to tell you, bro. You showed up to the Leaf game, and they got whooped.
So how many times do we need to say the Toronto Cowboys is overrated? Every season, no matter how the record looks.
Dude, I had faith in them, bro. 2-0, up 2-0, and you go to Florida and you just choke.
I kept telling you on this podcast, I go back and watch the footage. I kept saying that they had a 2-0 lead. I'm not buying it.
You did say it. Hey, that's
what I give too.
I give it to you, bro. I rooted for Florida though. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, I think that was your Stanley Cup pick.
Yeah, Florida, I got winning it all personally, but I was nervous because the best team against a team that was down 2-0 and arguably a better team. It's going to be a lot harder to come back. You're gonna have to win 7 games now, and they did it. So I had faith. I was just scared, bro. But you were right. I was
The
I was
Toronto Maple Leafs have
overreacting.
now. The Toronto Maple Leafs have now lost 7 straight Game 7s.
That's unreal.
That's incredible.
That's a horrible accomplishment, you know.
And then you got Brad Marchand for the Panthers, who is now at 5-0 in Game 7s against the Maple Leafs.
And I love it too.
So 7 straight of those losses came from 7 straight. So 5 of those last 7.
Yes, sir.
Came against Brad Marchand, who was with
guess
Boston, and now he's with the Panthers.
And guess what? He gonna do it again next year. Watch, guaranteed. It's gonna be the same
There
series
was
next year. He's gonna do it again.
There was a stat that I want to say came up on the broadcast on Sunday for that game. It stood out to me because I think they said he had 36 points against the Leafs in the postseason.
Jeez.
So
Right.
I think that's the most for a player against a certain opponent of all time. So if they never had to see Brad Marchand again in Toronto, I don't think they'd shed a tear.
No, yeah, I think they'd be very happy not to see him again, dude. I don't know what it is with the Leafs, dude, but like, I love Canadian hockey. I don't know why they just play a little bit harder, in my opinion. But
I feel like they play for like a country. It seems like
right, but they just looked so soft these past 3 games. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I know they went back to Florida and they lost again. They didn't win a single game in Florida, bro. How is that possible, bro? You gotta take one. I don't know, man. It's just
I think they did. I think they won.
No, they took Game 6, didn't
they?
they?
They won Game 6. Yeah,
Okay, they won Game 6
to make it Game 7.
Oh yeah, you're right. I thought it was the other way around. But bro, I'm so happy that Florida won, but it's just you gotta feel a little bad for him though, because like
I don't.
I feel a little bad because like dang, right? I can't get
I
over
don't at
the
all.
ball.
I feel bad for the
nauseating and
fans,
irritating.
maybe. Not
That's what
the
I'm saying.
team.
Like the fan wise, like I feel bad. Like, bro, y'all was up 2-0, and like Chris, that'd be like if the Bucks were up 2-0 or Jalen, the Jazz made the playoffs up 2-0 and like the Thunder, and you just choke it, something like that. I don't know. It sucks, bro.
Yeah, that's do you guys think that this could be like rock bottom in a sense for them in a way?
Yeah.
They start up 2-0 and then lose back-to-back games at home 6-1 in games where at least in the second one you could have closed out your opponent.
I mean, I can only
hopefully
imagine.
this series can humble them about we're not as talented as we thought we were.
Right.
From the fan standpoint.
Right.
Yeah, I just hope that the fans think that, we're not Stanley Cup champions. We're not the favorite every single season like we thought we are. There are better teams out there, and when the postseason comes, it's a whole different kind of season.
Mm-hmm.
And now they witnessed it with their own eyes.
When Florida's a team too that elevates every year in the postseason too. We saw them beat, I think it was 2 years ago, the Boston Bruins, who broke the regular season points record that year.
Yeah.
They beat them in 7. They beat them in Boston in overtime.
Yeah.
And then last year they won the Stanley Cup outright, and I have them and Edmonton were my 2 in the Stanley Cup for this year. So both of them are still alive. I didn't buy the Jets either this year, especially after that first series where they almost lost to the Blues, who one could make an argument, that they shouldn't have even been in the first place. So I got to pat myself on the back a little bit for that one.
Pat yourself on the back, my friend. You guys are correct on these.
So
big
you
hockey
got
brains.
Maple Leafs versus the Hurricanes. That might mean not the Maple Leafs. You got the Panthers versus the Hurricanes. That would be a very interesting series. But the biggest series, I think, in my opinion, will be definitely the Stars.
I was gonna say,
the Stars are when they got Rantanen.
I'm looking at Dallas, Florida finals, bro. I need it. Need it.
And it's setting up perfectly for a rematch. If the Oilers and the Panthers match up again, the Oilers are winning.
That's why I want the Dallas Stars to make it, bro.
You don't want
if the Oilers go back to the Stanley Cup and they face the Panthers again.
I don't want the Oilers. Dallas, do your job. And then let Florida get the ring. That's all I want to see. Pull that bracket back up real quick for me, bro. Because I think this is something great right here. Listen to me, folks. I got Dallas in 6. Okay.
6.
6.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a good take, I guess.
I got Dallas in 6. And They're a better team. First of all, they don't have the most rest actually, so that's kind of interesting because it looks like the Oilers have only lost 3 games. But I got Dallas in 6. They're on fire right now. I can see them losing 2 games pretty badly, but those 4 they win are going to be close and gritty, and the crowd's going to go crazy. Florida, man, this might be a very interesting series. If I got to be honest,
This is going to be a good Final Four.
I don't know the Florida Carolina. That's a hard one to predict. I don't know why. I just feel
Well,
like
a lot of people I know wanted Washington outright this year too. I think I don't know if it was just because of the Ovechkin kind of momentum thing that they were
It
riding.
definitely was.
It was, yeah, 100%. That would have been a crazy story.
Yeah, Carolina humbled them to say the least.
Absolutely.
They put belts behind. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I gotta go with Florida still, but I think I'm gonna stretch it to 7 games because I don't think that's gonna be a very easy series considering Carolina's just
The way the Hurricanes are playing, they underrated. They're pretty much underrated. No one was talking about them.
Right. It's interesting.
I mean, on our show, they were an absolute afterthought for pretty much all of us.
Yeah, no one talked about the Carolina this entire time until now, which is kind of crazy.
It's because they were playing Ovechkin, and we all thought that Ovechkin is going to get it done, and they're not gonna fold. And well,
pretty old,
I ain't say they folded, but they folded.
Right.
Pretty much, they just. The Carolina Hurricanes were clearly the better team.
Who y'all got, man? I gotta know. I got Florida and Dallas winning. I got Florida in 7, Dallas in 6.
Well,
I got Edmonton, Florida. I'm gonna stick with it.
I had the Jets winning it all, and they beat the Jets in like 5 games. So I'm going to take the Dallas Stars.
Love it.
Bransonin right now is just playing
he's
well.
So good, bro.
Yeah, he's insane.
He's so good. Dude, I restarted watching hockey this year because I took like a year hiatus. I don't know why. I just stopped after graduation or whatever. And I came back, and this guy's just, I don't know what it is about Dallas and outside of like football and basketball. The other sports are just absolutely fun to watch. I don't know what it is, but.
They got Robertson. They got Duchesne. I mean, they got Ottinger. Ottinger just does not let goals go past.
Yeah,
he's been doing this for a couple years now. Actually,
he
did it last year. He did it the year before that.
Yeah, the year before when I was watching, he was nice.
He's like Connor Hellebuyck was during the regular season.
Yeah.
Except for the postseason.
He was Hellebuyck in the regular season. Hellebuyck was a trash can in the playoffs.
Yep.
I wouldn't say he was a trash can in the playoffs because
he wasn't very good.
It was only one series really that he got lit up, and that was the first series. What was that first series when they played?
Which one?
Game 1. Who did they play? St. Louis. Yep, he got lit up against St. Louis.
I'm intrigued.
He had to get taken out of the goal in like 3 straight games. First 3 straight games, he had to get taken out. So I'm like, yeah, Hellebuyck is chopped right now. But he stepped up and played very well the rest of that series. You could arguably say he played pretty good against Dallas. It's just that Dallas just had a few goals that went in. That's all.
I'm intrigued to see the goaltender matchup in the Edmonton versus Dallas series. I think Edmonton definitely is at a disadvantage on both the defensive side and in goalie. So if there is a reason that Edmonton loses that series, I don't think it's because their attack doesn't show up. No. It's because their defense doesn't show up. And that's been their concern pretty much since they emerged as a contender with McDavid and Draisaitl.
Ottinger is just, he's literally like a wall. Like
you got Hall of Fame brick wall.
Yeah, it's like he's not. If they lose a series, it's not because of goaltending. Ottinger is just that man. Ottinger is just him. So
I'd be shocked if it was for that reason.
Hey, defense wins championships.
Hey, yeah.
Like I say, all sports, no matter what sport it is.
Defense wins championships.
I mean, we've been seeing that with the NBA too, and especially in the West, just seeing the better defensive teams kind of rise to the top.
I think Dallas got the better defense against Edmonton, and I think they're going to show it.
So before the series starts, I got Stars and Panthers.
Beautiful. Chris, you're a trader. Edmonton, come on.
I've been on the Edmonton bandwagon for a good 3 years now on that regard. I've been picking them to win every single year. It just hasn't happened yet.
Come on, bro. Join Florida, bro. Join Florida. Trust me. Just trust me. I'm gonna wear my jersey one of these days. It's in my closet. I just don't want to wear it right now because we're about to end. But still.
So I'm gonna jump into our last topic of the day. Paige Beckers.
Let me tell you,
Paige Beckers had made her, and W is back. Paige Beckers had made her debut this past weekend, and she looked bad first game. I mean,
she did look
it
bad.
was first game, probably first game. She had 10 points, went 3 for 10 from the field, 7 rebounds.
That's okay.
But she'll be better. You know, that's just how Clark looked in the first half of the season and how she finished. Look how she finished. So she had some, just had to get on adjustments and has to adjust. So last night she did have a comeback game. 19 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds, 7 for 14 from the field. Then the game over the weekend, the fever in the sky. And it wasn't even close.
Hey, hometown team, you a Fever fan. I love it.
What should we expect this summer from the W? What's the hottest takes? I mean, I'm a Sky fan. I mean, I'm always root for my Sky now. Like, I'm always root for the Chicago Sky to win, but I'm a Caitlin Clark fan, so I mean, whatever they do or whatever team she's on, I'm going to root for that team.
That's how I am with Curry, bro. I can't even hate. When Curry came to Milwaukee, I told him to drop 40. Guess what he did? He dropped 36. I didn't care. That was great. I loved it. But hey, hottest take right now, I think Caitlin Clark is going to break like 4 records for no reason. I just think she's whatever, And
it was some crazy stat that I seen on ESPN that they said Paige Beckers is the first player to have a triple-double in stats in the first 2 games. I'm like, what kind of stat is that?
It was her. I think Candace Parker did it. Yeah, someone else did it, but I can't remember who else did it. But I know I think there was 3 names.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think someone who's gonna have like a pretty underrated season right now. Is Brittany Skies. I think her season is gonna be really good for the Washington Mystics. I don't know why she just dropped.
Oh, Sykes.
Yeah, Sykes, my bad. She dropped 22 and 27 back-to-back games. I think her season is gonna be very interesting because she's got MVP numbers right now, bro. I'm not gonna lie. So, I mean, I know it's first 2 games, but that says a lot for the first 2 games. I mean, no one probably predicted her to be that good, but
so we all obviously seen the play.
And Kelsey Plum, by the way, she had a really good start to the season.
I think that's my underrated team, I think, for this year. I don't really know where they're projected to finish, but I think the Sparks are going to take a step forward this year. They made some good moves in the offseason, and Cam Brink's going to come back at some point this year. So I think they're going to get rejuvenated a little bit and make their way up the standings.
Hey, Brink was on CC's tail last year for Rookie of the Year.
Before she got hurt. It was really supposed to be the Rookie of the Year race was supposed to be Clark and Brink because
it was
they
close,
were right there next to each other. Actually,
Brink was making some impact on the Sparks. I don't know what it was, but I know she's like 6'6" or something, whatever. But she was making a crazy impact on that team, and I wonder when does she come back? I didn't even realize that.
I think it's like June 1st. I think something like that.
Oh, she got like 2 weeks left. Okay, yeah, we good. I like that.
So she's close to returning.
She dang, that coming off of ACL is tough, but it's a lot easier than the Achilles. So
yeah, Achilles is the worst.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll be okay. I'm excited to see her play though. That's one of my highly anticipated players that I kind of wanted to see outside of Sykes. I think Sykes is gonna have a crazy year, and obviously Paige,
yeah,
Paige fan club over here, Rookie of the Year, no problem, no sweat. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what the dub has for us this year.
So we've all seen the play. If you haven't, then you're probably sleeping under a rock. But we've all seen the play with the Caitlin Clark take foul and Angel Reese reaction. What I will say about that is basketball.
It's nothing wrong with showing emotion, though.
It's basketball.
I just don't think they should have escalated it in the media like that.
The media all throw. That's like for us. We're all trying to make stories, right?
Right, but I'm just saying, that was kind of blown out of proportion.
That was kind of crazy to be blown. I'm like, that's basketball. That's 2 highly competitive players right there going at each other. When Angel Reese smacked Caitlin across the head last year, when she went into the lane and got fouled and hit in the head, I said that too. It's a hard foul. It's basketball. You could clearly see she was going for the ball.
Mm-hmm.
She just came across her head. Did that get upgraded?
I think the media is trying
did that get
to.
upgraded?
What?
I'm pretty sure that got upgraded too, but
it was a flagrant. I think.
So
it was a flagrant for her teammate who pushed her, or a fine or something like that.
Carter.
Yeah.
I think the media is trying to almost force this rivalry in a way when, in my opinion, Caitlin is clearly the superior player between the two of them. Angel shoots 39% from the field as a center, which obviously is not great, whereas Caitlin has been clearly dominating the league. Angel reminds me a lot of Andre Drummond in a way, where she gets a lot of boards, puts up around 10 to 15 points a game inefficiently, and doesn't really do a ton to help her team to win. I think Caitlin does far and away more. And I think the media is trying to force something that really isn't there between the two of them. And they've been doing that since college because of LSU versus Iowa and whatnot. And I think the narrative is just kind of old at this point and stale.
I got a hot take here. I think Angel Reese being drafted to Chicago was not a good destination for her. Not a good. If she was,
I didn't honestly there's no shade, but I didn't want her here.
That's what I'm saying. I think the big city is just not for someone who's very, high profile like that, especially when she's coming off a national championship win. I think if she was drafted to I don't know, Washington or the small city somewhere, she would be a lot more dialed in the basketball because she's worried about a lot of wrong stuff, bro. I'm being honest with you. And I love watching her play. I think she's a great player. She's going to be a great player. I don't think she's very good right now. But it's just such a one-sided beef. She really wants to be the face of the WNBA, which is cool, which is great. It's a great goal to have. But in order to do that, you got to be the best. And you can't beat the best at all right now because you just got blown out by her in game 1. So if she got to work on a lot of stuff, and I don't think she's been working on it. It didn't look like it, at least. So
there's two faces of the W right this moment. That is A'ja Wilson and Caitlin Clark.
You can argue Kelsey Plum a little bit because a lot of people know who she is. I don't know why.
Paige will be there in probably a year or two.
You can
probably
look at. There's other great players that you can also say their faces, Nafisa Collier. But when it comes down to the shield of the WNBA logo, those two players come to mind when you think of the W. So those are the two faces of the league.
Right.
And when it's not something that you can say it's me. I'm the face. I got all the attention. I bring. You can't do that. It naturally comes.
Right.
Look at Anthony Edwards. Did you see Anthony Edwards going out here saying something? I'm bringing up viewership, and I think that I'm a part of the NBA, and I'm gonna bring the NBA playoffs back.
He didn't even want it.
You don't see AE doing that. He's just being himself, and it just gravitates to him because of his talent. It happened with LeBron. It happened with Steph. It gradually comes with how you play on the court and your off the court view or your off the court look. They just be themselves and are very marketable. Angel Reese, you could probably say she's not that marketable.
She gives everyone attitude too. It's bro, you got to have some type of charisma to you. You have to have some type of great, fun personality as a player. You don't have to be friendly with everybody.
No.
As a player, you got to be able to navigate your way through the media and make yourself likable to people. Everyone on the internet just destroys her because of her attitude and the way she talks to people and the way she plays. There's something just so off about players that have this big name in college coming to the NBA thinking that they're going to take everything over. It's not going to happen. She's not even a top 20 player right now.
I honestly don't think she's the best player on her team.
Not even close.
I don't understand either why Chicago drafted her after they just drafted Cardoso, who's another center. What was the thought process? And now it seems like they're phasing Cardoso out without really giving her a fair shake either.
I'm trying to tell you, if Cardoso goes somewhere else, she's going to dominate.
She only had 7 points the other day, 2 blocks or something like that, 3 for 9, I think.
How
But
many shots did Angel Reese take in yesterday? What was it, like 11, 12 shots from the field?
She had that one stretch where she had 2 missed layups and a block shot in like 3 seconds, but she got those rebounds too, so her stats look better.
yeah, she takes these unnecessary shots because she wants to be the face of the team. She wants to be the leader. And bro, there's so many ways that you can be a leader on your team. You don't have to score every drive, every possession. You can rebound, you can pass it out, you can play crazy defense. Bro, she could try to get like second team all defense or in the WNBA or something like that. You don't have to try to get face of the league or MVP right away. You just, bro, try to develop yourself into a great player. And I don't think in Chicago she can do that, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like that's just not
too much off the court stuff that go on in Chicago. It's not
that's
that. It just is what it is. It's a big city. I mean, it's
beautiful. It's voted
beautiful city. Big city has a lot of money in it. It has a lot of influence and it has a lot of distraction.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't keep your head grounded, if you don't
got to
keep
think about
your
it. Brand deals in Chicago, endorsement deals, all that stuff go on. So distractions left and right, man. I don't know. I think she can be a great player.
Yeah.
And I want her to.
She just has to learn a role, I think, is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Like she's not a star at this point in her career yet. Does that mean she can't get there at some point? She probably could. However, she just needs to learn that she's not the best player, even on the Chicago Sky right now, and adapt to just being a good defensive center who grabs boards and makes open layups.
And, just because you shoot the ball the most doesn't mean you're the best player.
Right. And Caitlin Clark, she can do that. So you just got to know your game. You know, Caitlin Clark, she can shoot the ball and just be the best player.
And then people be like, oh my God, they play 2 totally different positions. Yes.
Yeah, but
look at Aaliyah Boston's impact on the Fever.
You're right.
Look at her impact on the Fever. Look at Cam Brink's impact on the Sparks. When they went down, they became the worst team in the league.
Yep.
Look at the impact that Paige Beckers is going to have on the Wings. Yes, they're 0-2 right now. But they don't look bad.
Yep. Look at Sykes having 2 20-point games back to back. Crazy already. And, you know, it's just
perfect example is look at the doggone Lynx.
Yep.
Nafisa Collier, without Nafisa Collier, the Lynx aren't even getting to the playoffs.
Look, man, like they play 2 different positions, but Caitlin Clark got a triple-double. As a center, you should be able to get that then. You know? You should be able to get all the rebounds and pass the ball more and get 10 points, maybe.
A double-double in rebounds is not that impressive as it is a double-double with assists. Because when you have an assist double-double or a triple-double, when you bring in assists, that means you're passing and they're scoring.
Right.
Meaning you're elevating the team up. Yes, she's a point guard. Yes, she has the ball in her hands. She's different. She facilitates. She scores. She does everything on the court. Yes. Look at Breanna Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
Look at her impact when she rebounds and shoots.
She's tough.
She passes as well. She doesn't have to be an assist first kind of big. She gets the ball. Look at A'ja Wilson.
You got to bring her
up. What are you talking about? Like, what are we talking about?
You don't even need to bring her up. That's the GOAT, man.
She averaged like 25 points and like 11 rebounds last year.
Like 3 blocks.
And like 3 blocks. That could be Angel Reese with that kind of impact.
I'm telling you, bro, she's focused on the wrong things, and
she needs to hone in offense. Just offense, like work. I think the rebounding is definitely there. The aggression is there. Yeah, she's not bad with anything except scoring, really, and potentially facilitating. But she's really just got to work on polishing her offensive bag. I don't know if that's going to come next off season or throughout the year, kind of in practice. But that's really the only thing she needs to do, and then she'll finally start getting more respect from us pundits and the national media as well.
I don't
think she's going to. The crazy thing about all of it is that people constantly keep saying that, oh my God, why is it always about Caitlin? Why is it always about them two having a beef or whatever?
That's true.
Because y'all made it that way. Y'all flaunt and taunt this national championship ring from college like they not in the W.
Right.
Like they pros now. It's different level. Mm-hmm. One is actually impacting and playing very well at the highest level of an MVP. The other has fallen off since then.
Dude,
I
And
just
that
say, look
speaks
at this.
to the-
I say, look at this. The Indiana Fever were the worst team in basketball when they drafted Caitlin Clark.
playoff team with you.
They went to the postseason, and now they have odds on probably the second or third best odds to win a championship.
And she is like MVP, leading in MVP right now. I mean, the league just started, yeah, but you gotta.
I
you
think
gotta
she's
imagine.
second behind Nafisa Collier because she just had like 37.
You're right, but you gotta imagine though.
She's going to eventually take the role of the MVP, and she's going to obviously take it over at some point this season. Look at the Chicago Sky when they drafted Angel Reese. They were a playoff team.
Got worse.
They got worse last year. Didn't make the playoffs. Oh my God! They say she got hurt. They weren't making the playoffs at all, regardless if she was on the floor or not.
They also lost by 35 in game 1 of this season.
And then, so now the Sky were a playoff team when they drafted Angel Reese. They had just a few pieces they missed just from missing the playoffs. Or no, they were in the playoffs when they drafted her. They grab her. Everything's gone down. They were terrible last season. They had a top 5, top 7 pick.
Top 5.
But they traded it, I think.
Top 5 pick, yeah.
They traded, I think, to the Mystics to get Ariel Atkins, right?
I believe so. I gotta check.
They were like 4th, I think.
I gotta check that again, but yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, they were like 4th, and they traded for Ariel Atkins. So that means they were the 4th worst team in the league. Now they arguably, the way they look at this moment, they might be the worst team in the league.
It's a shame, dude. I don't
So
know.
how do you go from a playoff team by drafting one player and now you become the worst team in the league?
With that, they had a top pick that year in Cardoso as well. They had 2 top picks that season. It makes absolutely 0 sense.
Look,
Cardoso, people are like, oh my God, Cardoso, she's just not aggressive. Why is she going to be aggressive when Angel is being aggressive?
you
You can't have two bigs be aggressive.
There's only one basketball.
People talk about, oh my God, Cardoso is bad. She's bad. Look at what they have her doing. And this is coaching too.
They got her sitting in the corner sometimes. They got her
sitting in the corner. Why does she have the ball at the top of the key?
Yeah, well,
she's like 6'7". Get her in the post.
Post her up. Get some hook moves. Try to.
And then when she does get on the block, she calls for the ball here. She's calling for it, and they don't give it to her when she's on the block. But then now the other team sees that she's open. They give it to her, and now she got 2 people on her swiping at the ball, and now she has to go up with a tough finish. So every bucket is tough for Cardoso.
Do you think it's a coaching issue too? Because I think it comes down to coaching a little bit. Like
the
you should not have
that they playing.
The rotation,
the rotations and the scheme that they
the rotations are horrible, bro.
Are terrible.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that, I was watching the other day, and I'm like, why do they have 2 bigs on the court when the Fever are playing small ball out there compared to them? And it just looked so slow and like inactive.
You get it. You start the game off with your starting.
Oh yeah,
5.
you can start it off with your starting 5, but bro, the rotation's got to go. Like
you got to change.
You got to adjust.
Yeah, Haley Van Lith didn't even play that much.
There was no in-game adjustments. There was when they did pass the ball to Cardoso, she got almost double team and triple team, so she has to take mid. So she did make one. She made like I think 11, 12-foot jump shot. Why is she taking jumpers?
Shouldn't be taking jumpers, bro. She should be in the paint like A'ja Wilson, 100%. She's literally the same person.
Brings the ball up. Well, A'ja Wilson can bring the ball up, but where is A'ja
like
mainly though?
Yeah, in the paint though. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to do that, bro. Cardoso in the paint. I think she could be like very dominant down there, like extremely. And it's just
Cardoso in the paint could be like Shaq.
Mm-hmm.
Not a bad.
But you don't give her the ball on the block
because A'ja Wilson's like
the ball where she's.
So, bro, if they can figure out the rotation, they got the players, bro. Don't get it twisted. They got the players to do that. The rotations just got to be better. You cannot have those 2 on the court together at all times. You can start it off like that, but bro, you got to be able to rotate. You got to be able to play with the other guards and play a little bit of fastball, pace and space. Pace and space a little bit. Go on the court, space it out a little bit, pace yourself. Make sure you get the correct offensive look. Drive to that basket or be in the basket right there under the basket in the post. So be tough, man.
So we got the Indiana Fever tonight. They're back in action again, and then the Sky play again on Thursday. So let's get into our final thoughts.
Hey, I got Paige Bueckers Buckets, Paige Buckets, winning Rookie of the Year, and I think they're going to be a playoff team this year. That guard combo with her and I can't pronounce her last name, Agwamble or something like that. I can't say it. Yeah, Gumbawale. That guard combo is going to be dangerous. I think they can make it. I think they can, bro. They're playing lights out basketball. They're playing great team ball. I think Arike, she likes Paige too, and Paige likes her. So I was watching it, and I'm like, man, this looks good, bro. I'm excited. My jersey's on the way. Don't worry about it. It's on the way. And I'm excited. So I got her winning Rookie of the Year by a landslide. I don't think it's gonna be close. And I think I think Dallas is gonna be good WNBA wise.
Yeah, I still gotta
Hear
get
me
my
out
Caitlin
on this,
Clark
right?
jersey.
Hear me out. I'm going to switch sports really quick over to baseball. The Brewers trade for Alec Boehm. W or L?
W.
Oh, I thought you was breaking news. I was like, whoa.
No.
What?
W.
Because this team clearly needs a third baseman. The guys that they have are not getting it done. Andrew Monasterio and Caleb Durbin are both AAA players on a good day. Joey Ortiz has been abysmal at shortstop. Not on defense. He's been decent enough on defense whereas if he had a good bat, he'd be fine and nobody would be saying a word, but he doesn't have a bat either. The back end of the order is just a black hole for this team, and it's a problem. And they need to make a move. They need their Willy Adames is what they need. A lot of the fans have been talking. This feels eerily reminiscent of that 2021 season where the offense wasn't really going at all. So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is if they trade for Alec Boehm, I think it's good for both sides. It gives him a fresh start and it gives the Brewers kind of a potential spark plug as well.
That would definitely help our team out a lot. The third baseman is not looking very good right now. And man, it's hard, man. It's hard being a Brewers fan. I'm not gonna lie.
The Cubs they're swinging the bats really well, so they need something that's going to be able to try and match that.
Well, it's actually hard being a Cubs fan because at least y'all have a bullpen, and we don't have a third baseman either. But we decided to trade our best players when we could be stacking them together. I mean, Cody Bellinger hitting that grand slam on Sunday was absolutely just broke my heart. Because I'm like, he could be at first base and Bush could be at third. All our problems could literally be out of the way for offense. We wouldn't have to even be looking for a third baseman at this moment. We could just be literally so focused on looking for pitching. Now we have to see if we can find a third baseman. They bring Matt Shaw back up. Hopefully he can come back to where he was in the minor leagues. It's like you're banking on all of these players and you're not giving them a chance to fail.
Mm-hmm.
On winning teams, the prospects can't fail. That's why a lot of them burn out.
Mm-hmm.
The Orioles, they're a prime example of that right now. They're terrible. They're awful. Adley Rutschman has been awful this year. A lot of the prospects that they had phased out, and yeah, they're really on the struggle bus right now. It felt like watching that Brewers game. I watched the entire thing pretty much start to finish last night. It felt like a battle for who wanted to lose more rather than who wanted to win the game. And the Orioles just wanted to lose that much more than the Brewers did.
You can't even, they fired their coach, Brandon Hyde, but, you can't even blame coaching for that. They just don't look good. I don't know what happened to them. It's wow.
They were amazing last year and 2 years ago.
The simple answer is starting pitching. They have no pitching.
They were the 1 seed, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, the last 2 years, they were one of the best teams. They're probably the best team in baseball. But
something happened, man. I don't know. I'm sad about that. They were my team to win it last year, and then they choked it away. But it is what it is. I thought they're going to be really a lot better this year, but what it is.
Well, we've come to the end, fellas.
Wolves and 6.
Subscribe, like, share, and comment. Follow our podcast on other platforms. We have a Spotify, we have an Instagram, we have a TikTok, Ford podcast. We post reels, shorts of the shows, polls, and questions. You can always DM us on anything you want answered you may have. This has been Shot of Sports, and we'll see you on Thursday.